All right, guys, in today's video, we are talking about the EURUSD, which is experiencing a significant drop following that US election volatility that I talked about in previous videos. So let's go ahead and jump right into it here. And just a reminder too, guys, we do have FOMC coming up in the next 24 hours. So this volatility is going to continue for these markets. So just keep that in mind as you progress through the week. Even though we are seeing a breakdown here from the euro, this could also change over the next 24 hours. Although right now, I've got to be honest, I do like what I'm seeing in terms of the US dollar because this is kind of in line with what I've talked about for the past few weeks. So looking at the EURUSD, we have this trend line down here from the October 2023 low. So you can see this low down here. We've got a couple of lows through here, these lows through here. This is where we got the recent bounce. And if you guys have seen recent videos, this is why I was talking about the fact that, I wouldn't be looking for anything long-term here on the long side of things, just because of what the DXY did in October. And this is a perfect example of that. I mean, certainly I didn't know that we were going to get a move like this following the US election, but this is why I've said for the past few weeks that if you are looking for longs here, you've got to be really careful, and I would look for something more short-term. Now, this is also kind of in line with, I talked about the pound yesterday going into the US election and talking about that 130.50 resistance area and how longs had to be careful. The same thing here with the euro above 109. So this area up here, I was talking about a potential sweep into this area before the short. It didn't quite get there, but pretty close here. Now, if you were trading these markets, though, into the US election, I do think that was very risky, as it typically is. So with this breakdown, here's what I'm looking for from the euro. Obviously, with FOMC tomorrow, I want to see this hold below this trend line up here, right around 1.078. Now, given the size of today's candle, there's a good chance that we see this filled in over the coming days. Whether that be tomorrow or over the coming days, potentially even next week, there's a good chance that we see this filled in a little bit intraday before we get that potential move lower down here toward the lows. So keep that in mind if you are trading these markets. And again, also with FOMC tomorrow, it is going to be kind of risky to trade around that event, just because while we probably won't see this kind of volatility from tomorrow's event with FOMC, you are going to get a lot of movement within this area from the EURUSD. So again, there is an imbalance up here in this area for this candle, to where we could see a retest up here over the coming days and an intraday sweep up here in this area before we get that continuation lower. All right, so just keep that in mind, guys, with the upcoming volatility. But all in all, if this breakdown holds here for the euro, this puts it back below this October 2023 trend line. And we're looking at lows like this down here around 1.066 and 1.0615. Okay, so let's flip over to the DXY, the US dollar index. And by the way, guys, if you're looking for a trustworthy broker, see the link in the description of this video and join Blueberry Markets. I've trusted them for 7 years. I've met the guys in person. They are a great group of people, an amazing broker. You can trade Forex, crypto, commodities, and indices with them. And for a limited time, when you use my link, you can get a 30% deposit bonus. Plus, if you deposit $1,000 or more, I will give you lifetime access to our VIP group. All right, so let's take a look here at the DXY, guys. This is the channel that we've talked about now for months, going all the way back here to 2023. And what I've maintained ever since this right back here, ever since this reclaim back above 102.60, what I've maintained is, first of all, this was my target up here between 104 and 104.50. And what I've said, just like with the EURUSD, the inverse of that essentially is over the past few weeks, what I've said is, even though we were seeing a pullback from 104.50 as expected, okay, I was saying that it was very, very dangerous trying to look for anything long-term here from the US dollar, and you can see why. Okay, we are getting a big move up here, even a gap up, right? And this looks like, to me, whenever you get a gap like this and the market doesn't even come close to filling that gap within the first 24 hours, this right here could be sort of a breakaway gap here from the DXY, to where this market, even though we could get a little pullback here over the coming days, I do think this is going to continue higher up toward levels like 106. Now, obviously, 104.50 is going to be key here for this market. So this is going to be key support for the DXY. If it were to close back below this, then of course this up here would be a fake out and we get the move lower. But as of right now, this looks like a very healthy breakout here from the DXY. So if you guys have seen recent videos, what I was talking about there, we didn't quite get 103.20, but we did get 103.36 or so. So pretty close to the area I've talked about. And these lows back here, once the market broke below here, What I was looking for was a sweep of these lows down here and a retest of 103.20 before that bounce. This is what I've talked about in recent videos, and I even said the same thing in yesterday's video. Of course, we didn't quite get the market, coming down here into this area with the U.S. election. But again, this all played out, pretty much as I thought it might here over the past few weeks. Okay, so bottom line here for the U.S. dollar, guys, as I've said for the past few weeks following the 102.60 reclaim, I am still bullish on this market while it's above 104.50. This is now going to be a must hold for dollar bulls. Do that, and we're looking at a move up here toward some of these highs. Now, one thing to note here with the DXY is that we do have a trend line off of these highs up here that could come into play. And in fact, you could make the case that it's coming into play here today. Okay, so if we draw this across these highs, what you can see here is that we've got these highs up here, these highs through here, and now today's high, right? So this is why you've got to also be a little bit careful here in trying to long the US dollar or short the Euro USD at current levels. I do think, guys, that the best way to approach this is to wait for FOMC, wait to see what we get through this area, and see if we do get something constructive like a pullback down here and a bounce, okay? Alternatively, you could just wait for a breakout from this trend line up here, right? Wait for the breakout there to target some of these highs. But this is just kind of one thing to monitor because we do have some resistance coming in at today's high that goes all the way back here to highs from 2023. So this is a significant level here for the DXY, as is 104.50. All right, so take that into consideration if you are trading the major currency pairs. But as for the euro, guys, really it comes down to this area up here around 107.80 or so. So you can see across these recent lows back here, right? So if we draw a horizontal across here, this is now going to be the level to watch. While below this, the euro does look relatively bearish. If it can get above here, though, if it can reclaim this, then we could see a significant bounce from this market. All right, so FOMC tomorrow, guys, be careful out there. As I said with the DXY, I do think that the best course of action, I said it yesterday during the U.S. election, and hopefully you guys listened because this was an incredible candle over 200 pips. But I really think that with FOMC coming up as well, and with the market breaking below areas like this, and the DXY coming into some resistance there, I do think that the best course of action is to wait for FOMC to play out and just see what we get here from the euro. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. Don't forget to join us in VIP. Claim your 90% off lifetime access. See the link in the description of this video, or if you're on the website, click on that join VIP link. Be careful with the upcoming FOMC volatility, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.